Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, January 20th, 2023, after 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm having a reverse aging health call tonight at 9 p.m. How does one ignite the greatest spiritual awakening of their lives? Life is full and overflowing with the new, but it's necessary to empty out the old to make room for the new to enter. Eileen Caddy. In each moment of this life, we have the choice to experience life as heaven or hell. Now, if we are living in the mind, thinking and thinking and thinking all the time, we are unconscious and will be living in some kind of hell. When we can stop thinking and are simply relaxing with existence, we drop into pure, unbounded consciousness and we'll be living in heaven. It's pretty much that simple. A lot of people will believe that, I'm thinking, so I must be, and I'm thinking this and I'm thinking that, so I must be conscious. And in reality, you are unconscious. How we are experiencing reality is always our choice, heaven or hell. And this extraordinary or painful experience of this life is really up to us. We can always choose to become more conscious. We can slow down and pause to welcome the space for more consciousness to exist in the mind and body. We can allow our scintillating pure awareness into our dull, obligatory experience and make any dry moment truly precious. This perpetual choice is made in each moment. And if done over many consecutive hours, it will ignite the greatest spiritual awakening experience of your life. It's just like how an enormous bonfire needs kindling to start. You don't have to wait for some big spiritual teacher to ignite your inner fire. You can strike the match and ignite it yourself. The awakening begins with the choice to remember that we are the masters of our consciousness. And our consciousness is our connection to divinity. Without this connection, our lives are like a lifeless desert, yearning for the next morsel of juice to make it worthwhile. There is a very expansive spiritual version of reality available to all of us right now. We can go on ignoring it, focusing on achieving the mundane yet seemingly deeply important tasks in our world, or we can make this one choice to constantly choose consciousness over everything. This choice makes our inner fire grow brighter and get hotter. Spill the oil lamp. Spill and set this dry, boring place on fire. If you have ever made wanton love with God, then you have ignited that brilliant light inside that every person needs. Prophets. Spill the oil lamp. Set this dry, boring place on fire. You have ever made wanton love with God, then you have ignited that brilliant light inside that every person needs. Our total spiritual freedom is already our essential nature. Yet the mind is covered with conditions, belief systems, programming to forget it. The mind has spiritual amnesia that divinity is available in this now moment. We can do this now. So it's your choice to delay or not. We have procrastinated for a very long time. And chances are high that we will forget about divinity again and again and again. This amazing feeling of freedom ignites the instant we choose to open our hearts to the warm, healing sunshine within our souls. The bright fire of our consciousness is already there, already lit up, and this is all you need to start this greatest awakening. It begins with a fierce, unstoppable intention to find it, and the imagination of how this inner spiritual fire might feel if and when you were blowing on the first small flame to get bigger. Not too much or too little breath, just the right amount. If you could picture you're trying to get a fire started, and you're blowing on it to give it more oxygen, so it'll ignite more. So we kind of, not too much or too little breath, just the right amount. Any sensitive person can spiritually awaken. Anyone with a desire to discover this divinity inside this life can find it, because it already exists in everything and everyone. We need to get the mind out of the way to see it. The full seeing of our spiritual light always begins by holding our attention to our inner world. The monkey mind will wander, yet gently, persistently bring it back to your heart where the spiritual fire resides. Whatever we carry in our inner world is what's manifesting in our outer world. Whatever we carry in our inner world is what's manifesting in our outer world. If you feel like a financially poor person inside, you'll be entertaining thoughts of poverty consciousness in your mind. And then your bank account and debt will reflect that. If you feel like a spiritually rich person, then this abundance will also manifest into the richness of what you are contributing out into the world. We are all developing our spiritual capacity at different levels and speeds. This isn't a race. Yet what I am reminding you today is how you can manifest the highest spiritual awakening experience of your life and see how it manifests into your life. The external world is just as much you as anything inside of your skin. You as a human being are a symptom of nature. You are not something that comes into the world, but something that comes out of it. Alan Watts. Now, a long time ago, it's interesting because I would talk with people years ago, back in the late 90s, and I've been in quite a few different countries, and you come across people who are exploring alternative states of consciousness. It's even becoming a common trend in many conservative communities to think outside their traditional box and understand the spiritual laws of manifestation. People are working together, unified, more than ever, growing past their old comfort zones, learning how to naturally live every day from the highest states of consciousness. We can step out of the matrix and be a part of it today. Okay? You can step out of the matrix and be a part of it today. There's no need to play small, be helpless, or be deprived of spiritual freedom anymore. There is no need to play small, be helpless, or be deprived of spiritual freedom anymore. We were not born to be a fear-based being who is limited by the small minds of others. We are not here to be pawns in the human hierarchical game that millions are still playing hide and seek with. This world of us versus them is way outdated. The me movement has already changed to we. We are living in a time when we shine together, we mature together, and become the divine whole beings that we already are. The me movement has already changed to we. We are living in a time when we shine together, we mature together, and become the divine whole beings that we already are. Which means that we're coming into consciousness. We are no longer unconscious. And we're beginning to understand who and what we are. You have to participate relentlessly in the manifestation of your own deep, eternal love. Elizabeth Gilbert. The one place where people often miss the point of it all is in realizing they are the master of their existence. The one place where people often miss the point of it all is in realizing that you are the master of your existence. They do not see how the master inside has been asleep. It is nobody's fault. We have been under deep hypnosis for a very, very, very long time. We are unaware that we are unaware of this unawareness. We have been under a deep hypnosis for a very, very, very long time. We are unaware that we are unaware of this unawareness. If and when we knew we were asleep, then we would be awake, or maybe just a little bit closer to being awake. The old habit is to remain fixed in our thinking patterns from yesterday's newspapers. That's the old habit. These tendencies to believe we should live a struggling, hard life are thick and stubborn, as if they are laced with some very seductive social punishments. Now, if and when you step out of line, people will look at you and say something about you. So just conform to the norm. Be a sheeple and never stray from the flock. Yet, if and when you never wander away, how else will you realize that the mind has been asleep for eons, living in illusions that think that some people are closer to divinity than they are, believing that their lives are better than yours, richer, fulfilling, sensually alive, and amazing. And yes, the wool has been perfectly pulled over our eyes. We were born with the same divine consciousness as was Jesus, Buddha, and every other living master. We were born, all of us, all 8 billion, with the same divine consciousness as was Jesus, Buddha, Maitreya, and every other living master. We just haven't built up our bonfire like they did. Yet, we already are a super powerful manifesting being who can effortlessly create, attract, and materialize anything that we want, need, or desire. Just look around your life. Everything you see is a direct manifestation of some choice you made in the past. You deserve the recognition. We all deserve the recognition. We all deserve the best of everything. We deserve the recognition and acknowledgement that we are divine. We are here to experience outrageous levels of joy and inner peace all the time, and we can. Just start by reclaiming your own spiritual connection and know that there is an omniscient, all-intelligent source available in this now moment, and it feels amazing. So, choose to step back from your egos if you want to master it. That's your choice. Choose to step back from your ego if you want to master it. Drop your unconscious addiction to this mind trip and reconnect with the God source that abides at the very core of consciousness itself and is inside you, all of us right now. We deserve to enjoy this experience of life fully. And the more often we practice choosing consciousness over thoughts, we will see that this world is truly waking up all around us because our eyes are becoming more clear, crystal clear. Anxiety cannot be dissolved through thinking because thinking itself is a sort of anxiety. Okay. Take one step towards spirituality, empowering yourselves and ignite a deeper spiritual connection within the sleeping mind each morning by asking yourselves sincerely to answer each of these questions. Each one will assist you to look inside, think about who you are. Am I willing to become a more conscious, loving, kind human being? How devoted am I to the path of deep inner peace? Am I willing to say yes to overwhelming sensations of joy? What do I most need to say no to in my life so I can make space to say yes to in a deeper spiritual experience of this life? What is really, really, really important to me on a spiritual level? What are the thoughts that I most need to let go of that will create a more enlightened life? What does that one conversation sound like with myself that will allow me to feel lighter and freer instantly? There are many things that we have a choice with. Now, maybe some of you know that sense, let's say through the heart-mind, you're not really thinking, okay? You're feeling, but you're not thinking. You've left the mind and ego alone. And through that heart-mind and vibrational frequency, okay, you're sensing that there is a massive, major shift, change happening with everything, all of us on this planet. Now, for some, it might be a little subtle, like a feather. Others, it may be much more. But it's there. And it's growing. And you sense that it isn't depleting, it's advancing and expanding and strengthening. And you picture, and I'm sure most of us have been at a campfire, bonfire in this life. And you picture how that was built, how the kindling and all this massive lumber, this wood, and how as it lit, it kept growing and growing and growing and expanding. And then eventually it was roaring. And the spiritual enlightenment of oneself on this planet is roaring. So I'm going to share this is for you in the quiet time of this meditation. It's a spiritual awakening meditation. And the purpose of it, of this exercise, if you will, is to deeply relax about yourself, your life, and everything going on in this world. And you might want to do this after this meditation or sometime this week, this coming week. Take an hour a day this coming week. Put your cell phone on silent, sit down, relax into yourself, and be solely with yourself. Observe your mind chatter, but do not try to manage it. Listen to your thoughts as if they were background noise of birds chirping or cars driving by. If your mind starts to grasp onto any thought, desire, or intention, simply imagine they are melting away like butter on a hot summer day. This is a sacred, sweet, quality, quiet time to be alone and to truly be with your soul and the spiritual self. Practicing feeling into your heart, relaxing deeper into your body, letting go of all mental and emotional tensions that may arise. Let everything go until you feel deeply relaxed. Now, when you do this, you choose to do this relaxation practice an hour a day for 21 days. You'll notice a shift happening in your mind and begin having a more expansive spiritual experience of this life. Being aware of your physical body, right? Being aware of my physical body, I love and accept it until it feels like a warm, cozy home. A warm, coziest home. Be aware of my emotions. I allow myself to feel all of my feelings. Being aware of my thoughts and my mind, I allow them to fall away and be with whatever feeling is here now. Being aware of my desires, I watch how the mind never stops desiring this and that. Being aware of my awareness, I rest deeply in pure, unbounded divine consciousness. We're finding out in our own way that we are not these bodies. And you could say, I know I'm not the body, right? But how deep does that understanding go? Some people get too tied up with the ego mind and they're fearing saying that because they fear they're going to lose the body. And these are all questions that we ask ourselves. And this transition is not going to slow down or reverse itself. So we will be asking ourselves more and more, am I willing to become a more conscious, loving, kind human being? How devoted am I to the path of deep inner peace? Am I willing to say yes to overwhelming sensations of joy? Believe it or not, some of us on this planet fear that. Because of the ego mind, we fear overwhelming sensations of joy. What do I most need to say no to in my life so I can make space to say yes to a deeper spiritual experience of life? What is really, really, really important to me on a spiritual level? These are questions you ask yourself. You're not asking anybody else. This is for you, for every one of us. What are the thoughts that I most need to let go of that will create a more enlightened life? What does that one conversation sound like with myself that will allow me to feel lighter and freer instantly? See, and we're coming out of it. There's no denying it, ignoring it. You know, we've had that old habit, so to speak, to remain fixed in our thinking patterns from yesterday's newspapers, right? And these tendencies to believe we should live a struggling, hard life are thick and stubborn, as if they are laced with some very seductive social punishments. How many of us on this planet? We stay in this box. We stay there. But some of us we start to come alive within ourselves without the ego mind. And some of us just we'll say, I'm going to step out of line, but yet people will look at me and say something about me. So I'll just conform to the norm, be a sheeple and never stray from the flock. But see, that is greatly diminishing, because now the sheeple are beginning to awaken, and they're leaving the box. They're leaving it. Now, it's not that they won't gravitate back to it, because that's a strong pull by the ego mind, but more and more, the sheeple are not sheeple anymore. And the gods within them, and them realizing slowly, one step at a time, about who and what they are. You realize. See, it's easy to say, isn't it? It's easy to say that we were born with the same divine consciousness as was Jesus, Buddha, Maitreya, and all the other living masters. But open your heart up and allow that to come in and sink in and wash and saturate and permeate. This civilization has been divided, incessantly so, from the beginning. The civilization has been pitted against itself many times. Harm itself, harm each other, many times. This is a mentality or a perspective of humanity that was purposely put on this civilization, so it could, under great pressure, so it could finally begin to discover, and this is a box, okay? It's definitely a box that humanity has been locked into, and now everything looks wonderful. Beautiful sceneries, and beautiful experiences, lives, but it's a box. Have you ever been with yourself and you get some ideas, right? And you say, why am I doing this? Why, I just don't feel like I should be doing this. I should be doing something else, or I'm bored, tired, frustrated with this life of mine. Something isn't right. I sense it. But you're grateful and thankful for the very moment you're in. But in the heart mind, and at times you feel it. There's a kind of a wave that comes and goes. And the wave is basically being homesick from embracing the God that you are, from being in your natural state of deep eternal peace, joy, bliss, tranquility. It's a wave. You start to sense, okay, feel, not think, but feel. And it begins to expand as you begin to open your heart more and more. It's like the bonfire. And when you do this, it's a feeling that you're opening up to, and you're doing it very gracefully, lovingly. And as it comes in, you begin to discover more and more, this isn't the life I have chosen to live. This is a life that through my ego mind has created the suffering, the struggling, the fear, worrying about what others think of you, what they're going to say about you. So you stay in the box. And so many of us have, absolutely magna glorious feelings to express to the civilization, but yet, they're not going to step outside the box because they're afraid of how they'll be scrutinized or what's going to be said about them. You ever been in that situation? Have you ever really wanted to say something, not a negative, not disrespectful, but you wanted to bring something out onto the surface, right? You wanted to do something that wasn't in the box. And this feeling just came over you, and you feel very compelled and powerful to do it, but yet, as soon as you begin to make that first step out of the box, all this fear and worry came rushing in. Ego mind came rushing in. You ever felt that way? I'm going to do this, and this. I'm helping myself. I'm helping my brothers and sisters, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And then you're really gung-ho, right? You got the kindling built. You've lighted the fire. But all the necessary wood to pile on top of that to make that fire roar, you go, it might get out of hand, it might burn down something, it might hurt people around it. You see what I mean? See what happens? And then you shelve it, and you stay in the box. See, all of us, without a question, without a doubt, emphatically so, we deserve the recognition and acknowledgement that we are divine. We deserve the best of everything. We always have. The only reason we don't have the best of everything, all of us, is because of the box. Because of the fears through other people's thoughts that literally formed your personality and character. Okay, your programming. And all that programming is so outdated, it is archaic. And we're coming to realize, in our own way, every one of us, in our own time, that we don't care to stay in that box any longer. So more and more of us are stepping out of the box permanently. And yeah, like I said, it might try to pull you back in, but your own consternation and direction and the understanding and deep belief that you are the God within that body, that you never die, that you're eternal, says a lot, feeling-wise, not ego mind. See, in all this time, you have not been in the ego mind. You are in the heart mind. So when you view this and you start feeling things, and the more you go into the heart, I can guarantee you, the more you're going to want to go into the heart. Okay? It's not something like, I've got to go into the heart now. It's, I love going into the heart. I'm practicing so I can end up eventually staying in the heart mind. We're here to help each other. We love helping each other. We really do. Some of us have fears, so we don't help each other. Okay? There's fears from the ego mind, from the illusion of the ego mind. So it stops us in our tracks and we withdraw and we crawl back into the box. For a long time on this planet, I believe that many of us know that the dark was the master of this planet. And we know this because many of us have been in different lifetimes, experienced this pure evil on this planet many times, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. But now, the light has overtaken the dark. And when this happens, the dark never recovers because the light is always shining. See, if we don't participate in what we want, right, what we desire, then it's not going to be. And the participation was laborious? No. The participation is that knowing that you're a divine, omnipotently powerful, supreme being that never dies, that you can manifest anything you want in this life. And yes, we can put training wheels into place for the civilization. You know what training wheels are, right? Remember you were a kid and you had a two-wheel bike after you went from the trike to the bike? And of course you weren't coordinated enough and your balance, and the parents didn't want you to fall over when you got on the bike. So they would use training wheels. And they were very simple. You just clipped them on the back bolts of the rear tire. And they had the wheels on them. And so that when you got out of balance, you wouldn't fall over because training wheels would keep the bike straight. But after a while, slowly but surely, your balance came into perfect harmony, and you got the confidence and trust in yourself and faith that you didn't need those training wheels. And so your parents took off the training wheels. It was a big event. And you started riding that bike without the training wheels. It was the best feeling. If any of you have ever experienced that, it was one of the greatest. It was a wonderful feeling. It's like, wow, I'm actually doing it. That's what this life's about. We have training wheels. And different things come in to help us realize, as we are more and more from the heart mind and the ego mind is left behind, we start realizing, wait a minute, you use this, right? You see what it does, and then you start saying to yourself, just like you did with the training wheels on your bike, and you start saying, I think I might be able to create this on my own. And you try a little bit here and there, And it kind of sputters, and you go, okay, so I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. One of the biggest joys for all of us that are aware and here to help this planet transcend and the people on it, and it, above it, below it, is to truly, deeply embrace the truth that they are omnipotently powerful, divine, supreme beings that never die, that are eternal. They can have anything they want whenever they want it. They've mastered the mind and the ego. They are in deep eternal peace 24/7. And this planet will then become a God planet paradise. And you feel that in your heart minds in this quiet time meditation. And you'll know, emphatically so, that it is true. And join in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. You are absolutely amazing. Stop and realize how amazing you truly are. You are an intimate part of everything. The infinite intelligence connected to billions of galaxies, vast empty space. You have the power to manifest anything you want. There is a silent wisdom inside you, always guiding you, showing you the way home. Did I mention that you are truly amazing? Let's celebrate this amazing you today. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We return here tonight in our Reverse Aging Health Call, 9 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be very good to yourselves. Stay in gratitude no matter what's going on around you.